Sometimes when I'm riding the back roads, I have a plan of where I'm going when I suddenly run across something unexpected, and it piques my curiosity. Recently, I was on my way to film an abandoned hotel in Bulls Gap, Tennessee, when I ran across this abandoned building in a place called Guthrie's Gap. I instantly pulled over and looked the place over. Such an odd direction for a building to be facing. I mean, why face the railroad when there's a road right next to it? I decided to film this building even though I knew nothing about it, and I would research it later. Anyways, a few days went by and I stumbled across this footage on my hard drive once again. Something compelled me to research this place, so I did. And what I found is a fascinating glimpse into a small rural Appalachian town in the first years after the Civil War. So, with that, my friends, this is the true story of what I like to call a one-building Appalachian town. Our story begins in 1875, just 10 years after the Civil War ended. That's when a man named George Grigsby purchased some land situated on Whitehorn Creek, just a few miles outside of Bulls Gap, Tennessee. He built a house for his family, and it was situated just a few feet away from the newly built East Tennessee Railroad. It ran right through the middle of his property. Now, George was a man of many talents, but his main occupation was that of a chicken farmer. He quickly set about building his chicken operation, and he gained a reputation for producing high-quality chickens at bulk prices. Indeed, folks would travel for miles by horse and buggy to do business with Mr. Grigsby. Now, back in those days, it was common for folks to barter and to trade things of value for those chickens. So, it wasn't long before George decided he needed a bigger operation for his chicken business. Yes, sir, his business was booming, and he decided he would build a store right in front of the railroad in his backyard. And I mean, literally, on the railroad, so close that George could shake the train conductor's hand as he rode by the store. Nowadays, when folks think of a train stop from the 1800s, they picture a train depot and a town with at least a few other buildings. Yet, the truth is there were some places so small and so rural that the train depot would serve many other purposes. And you see, that's what George had in mind. He was about to build a one-building town. Once George had his building built, he hung a wooden sign up that read, Grigsby General Store. That's right, George would sell his chickens to folks, and everything they traded him became merchandise in his store. Before long, Grigsby Store had everything a rural family might need. Live chickens, seed, flour, cornmeal, and fresh vegetables. Now, the train passed in front of the Grigsby store every day, and one day, a train stopped to let a few workers out to buy a few things. The train operator noticed a large chicken operation, and he told George that he had a bulk chicken buyer in Pittsburgh. And just like that, the two struck up a deal, and the train began stopping at George's store once a week to pick up a load of chickens to take to the market. More and more people came to the Grigsby General Store and train depot each week. Heck, the store was now also a post office. And with George's bulk chicken business with the railroad, he was actually making money, so he opened up a bank right inside his store, loaning money to the local farmers. Yes, sir, George Grigsby had created a one-man rural Appalachian empire. George and his family operated the Grisby Post Office and Bulk Chicken General Store Bank and Train Depot from 1875 to 1960. For 85 years, this building was the lifeblood for this rural area. Now, as I was researching the history of this building, I found a newspaper article from about 25 years ago. And in that article, a 100-year-old lady was recalling her memories she had as a little girl at this store. She talked about the day she first saw a Coca-Cola for the first time in her life. She said she took one sip of it, and the fizz burned her nose so bad she never took another drink for the rest of her life. Another lady told stories of how one night a couple traveling through the area by horse and buggy stopped at the store, where the pregnant woman gave birth to her baby right on the porch. Indeed, countless memories took place at this building that now sits silently for the past 60 years. Most folks that live in this area have no idea what the building ever was, since it sat empty on the side of the railroad tracks for their entire lives. And just like that, the history of this building has almost slipped away, forever lost to the hands of time. Looking back, I'm glad that that building spoke to me as I passed it, and even more importantly, that I listened and took the time to capture its history and significance before it was gone. Thank you for watching this video and your support of the preservation of Appalachian history. You can support this channel by going to the Appalachian There you'll find Appalachian-made candles, 100% locally produced, right here in East Tennessee. Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel, where I share all sorts of Appalachian history and storytelling. Till next time, my friends.